NXT took place tonight in Orlando, Florida from the WWE Performance Center, and they will be staying in Florida this weekend for Battleground, which takes place in Tampa. However, they will not be staying in Tampa for NXT next Tuesday because that's been moved back to the Performance Center. People assume it's low ticket sales. I think the issue is when you run 4 straight events in one venue, people get burnt out. I mean, they didn't have to move Battleground or anything like that because they probably had good ticket sales for Battleground. But NXT, after I started its main event, then Battleground, then Raw, it's a bit much. So I can see why they didn't run a show in Tampa, and mine might have been lower ticket sales. But tonight's show started off with Ricky Sainz heading to the ring, and then he goes on commentary. Javon Evans is out for a triple threat match, with Javon Evans against Sean Legacy against Ashanti Adonis, so I don't know why he is still here. I thought after Carmen Petrovic dumped him, they would have fired him. But they were really asking for ratings today, I think, with Adonis, and no one in the world knows who Sean Legacy is. And Javon Evans, he hasn't made the best image of himself. He hasn't had the best image the last couple of weeks. Gone to that stupid Twitter spat with Ricochet. They shouldn't have even allowed him to bait you in. But the match was still really good. The crowd got into it. People like Javon Evans. He's obviously very talented. Ethan Page jumped Ricky Starks, who was on, or Ricky Sainz, who was on commentary. And then Javon Evans sees this, and he does a springboard dive to the outside, and he takes them both out. And then you have Sean Legacy pinning Adonis. And when it was them two in the ring, I knew Sean would get the win. And he wins, and he's from NXT. Sorry, he's not from NXT. I think he's from LFG. Or, no, he's from Evolve. He's not LFG, he's Evolve. I forget all these things. I was almost thinking NXT Level Up. Oh, wait, they don't have that anymore than Evolve, which is now just basically Level Up, and then there's the LFG show. But he's from Evolve, and he got the win. Stevie Turner's backstage with the other guy, I forget his name. She's talking to Ava Rain, and then they bring up the winners of LFG. I don't know whose coaches they were both from, but the two winners are there. Don't watch the show. Jordan Grace, they had a featurette on her as she's working on gym, and she's talking about her match with Stephanie Vaquer. Each of them had their own features, but Jordan here, it's obvious that she's just... They have her as a babyface when she really should just be a heel. People like to boo her. I think she just doesn't have the same appeal that Stephanie Vaquer has, or any of the other main girls have. I think she's just better suited as a heel, particularly because she's so built. I think she's just better as a heel. And like, it's going to be 100% Vaquer in Tampa this Saturday. Lola Vice is backstage, and she's talking to Stephanie Vaquer. First time we see the two of them on screen together. And they're backstage in the women's locker room, and Stephanie tells her she has to leave for an interview, and Lola is walking away after Stephanie leaves, and then JC Jane and Fallon Henley walk in. No Jasmine next, by the way, and they get into a bit of a back and forth, and it sets up a match between Lola and Fallon for later in the show. Next, we have the Trick Williams rap performance, and there's been much better rap performances in WWE, but he calls Hendry an average Joe. I'm thinking, really? That's what we're doing? Average Joe? Can't you make fun of him for like losing to Randy Orton in 3 minutes or something like that? But man, average Joe, I just thought this sucks. I mean, I guess this thing was supposed to be a throwback to the Cena rap in the Rock concert during when they were building up their first match at WrestleMania. They had a Raw episode where John Cena did a rap, and then The Rock did a concert at the end. And I guess that's what they were going for. But Booker T kept reacting so loudly to the rap. He kept, everything Williams says, he just goes on and on. Oh yeah, and it makes it so loud. And then I thought the soundtrack or the beat, whatever they had in the background, was also too loud. That it was so loud that you couldn't really hear what he was saying in combination with Booker T, and it made it like it's not very good. He's just calling him an average Joe. It's just not working here. I did not like it. I just thought this was meh. I mean, John Cena's had way better raps than this when he's done rap battles or rap concerts. And I mean, more recently, remember the Usos with the New Day when they had they were doing the rap battle and the Usos just owned them. Remember? Don't get all rated R like your boy Xavier Woods. That was hilarious. That was in 2017. I think I reviewed that when that first happened. I'm pretty sure that was really funny. But here, it's just not much at all here. We see Joe Hendry reacting to it. I mean, he's probably thinking, "Wow, I just have to give like an average, sing an average song with some couple of disses and burns. I can top that. That sucked." Then you had Josh Briggs backstage. He's being interviewed by Kelly Kincaid, who I'm happy to see her back. But Briggs says he misses Inamura, his tag partner, and they're making it like he's coming back. I don't know if he is. I assume he will eventually, but he's back in Noah right now. And I mean, it's kind of like at NXT right now. It's kind of the low period of the year. It's after Stand and Deliver, and things are just kind of quiet right now. But that was the interview. And then eventually the Cullen came out to the ring with Sean Spears, who they were all backing, their leader, and Sean Spears took on Josh Briggs. I just thought this was okay. Sean Spears won with outside interference from the Cullen. After the match, they beat him up for a while. That was after Briggs went after them, but then they really got the numbers advantage. Hank and Tank come out to make the save, so I assume next week we're getting a 6-man probably. Kalani Jordan is backstage with her great former rival, Sol Ruka and Zarya, and she wants to face Sol at Battleground, and they're not hyping up the first match because the first match was just awesome. They had at the Heat Wave show, and this year at Battleground, I'm looking forward to this, and this is the last year at this venue is when Kalani Jordan won the first NXT Women's North American Championship, and now a year later, Sol's going in as champion against Kalani, and Kalani wanted a shot after she beat Zarya. Sol agrees to her terms, and we got Kalani and Zarya. I thought when Zarya pinned Kalani a few weeks ago that Zarya was getting the next shot. I guess I was wrong. Andre Chase is backstage with his new members, and then you have backstage Thea Hale with her eye bandage up is yelling at Tatum Pax. She's sitting on the floor backstage. She's still very sad about losing everyone, and she's upset that Shotzi and Gigi were let go, but they don't mention them by name. And then as Thea's there, she's like going to talk to Tatum, and Jada Parker randomly lays her out. And I just laughed. Like, it was just random. Maybe I'm not paying as much attention to NXT as I should have. Did something happen last week with Tatum and Jada? Jada just crushes this girl for no reason. It was genuinely funny. Unintentionally funny. And I love Tatum, and I like Thea, but this was just funny. And then Jada mocks Tatum Pax. They're not doing much with Jada Parker as of late. Why not? I want to see more of her. But they don't seem like they're doing much with her ever since she took the pin at Stand and Deliver. Then you had the two Chase You guys, I forget their name. They faced OTM. OTM won. Boring, I didn't give a shit about this match. Miles Bourne heads to the ring for a face-off with Oba Femi. And they announced that next week's NXT is in the Performance Center, so it was official from this point. And it's out of Tampa, unfortunately. You know what? I'm just going to say NXT's cold right now. They might be in Tampa. It's hot there, but well, it's hot almost everywhere right now. But NXT as a product, I'm sorry to say, is cold. It's just cold ever since Stand and Deliver. I think losing Julia and Roxanne Perez definitely hurt a bit. And, you know, Vacquero's kind of there by herself, so they don't really have that thing where they have the best women's division when, you know, you lose two of the three best. And, you know, really you just have Vaquero, who's still great, but, I mean, she doesn't have the other two with her anymore. So you only have, like, one of the big three. And there's just less interest. They've released a lot of women as well, so they don't have as much interest in that division, it seems like, and I think it's exposing the men's division for how weak it is. And I think NXT right now, it's cold. There's nothing really interesting, nothing intriguing, no big storylines right now. I would expect another down rating, to be honest. Ratings have not been trending well. They started off excellent this year. Now, the NXT needs a spark, it seems like. They need something to shake it up, and maybe just getting to a Battleground. This feels like such a B show, and NXT shouldn't have B shows because they don't have that many shows a year. But I'm not too into the show right now. Then he had the Miles Bourne segment with Oba Femi. So Oba's very confident. Miles says he's being underestimated. He talks about all his struggles with being deaf. And that was the whole thing that there. And Oba Femi, to me, he just has no charisma to me. I just noticed that, yeah, he has a good look. He talks, like, intimidating with a very thick accent. And he's a big guy. He's very good in the ring. It's just he's boring. He is boring to me. And this was just all right. Miles left, and the LFG Season 1 winner guy, I forget his name, he attacked Oba. Miles came back. Then the guy left, and Miles handed Oba Femi the belt, and they're setting up their match at a Battleground. No one in the world thinks Miles is winning. Ava's yelling at Ricky and Ethan in her office, and she brings out a contract. I'm thinking, all right, good, we got a good match for Battleground, but no. The match is official next week on NXT for the title. It's probably going to take place in Tampa, but I mean, it's back in Performance Center because the show got moved. Lola Vice is out next. Then we had an NXT feature on Troy D'Angelo. They hype up the match with Stacks on Sunday. They go through the history of the family and the betrayal and everything that's setting it up. I'm sure we'll see Rizzo and maybe Luca on Battleground. Lola Vice against Fallon Henley is next. JC Jane is out with Fallon. No Jasmine next, so I don't think that bodes well for her, to be honest. Match went on for a while. JC Jane got involved, but it backfired. And what happened was, after she got knocked off Fallon bumped into JC, and she just took the spinning back fist from Lola. Lola won, and then JC Jane and Fallon Henley argue on the outside. We go to more of a intimate interview with Kelly Kincaid, who she interviewed Stephanie Vaquer. It's a video promo, and they're going through Stephanie's career, her journey, how she got to NXT. They're showing photos of her throughout the years, and then she talks about her next opponent, which is Jordan Grace. Kalani Jordan is out next. We get a Dark State promo. I forgot they even existed. Why aren't these guys fired? This sucks. Zarya is out next with Sol Ruka. We get the number one contenders match. Kalani Jordan against Zarya. This was okay. This was not a bad match. Not as good as the match I had. Was it 3 weeks ago or 2 weeks ago when Zarya put Kalani through the barricade? But Sol was taken out, so she saved Zarya from taking a bump on the outside. But then Kalani does a baseball slide onto Zarya and it knocks down Sol. Sol gets on the apron, but then Zarya runs into her. Like we just saw the same thing with the Fatal Influence thing with Fallon and JC, and we just saw the exact same thing here, Zarya and Sol Ruka. Anyway, Kalani Jordan rolls her up, gets the win, and we get the rematch. The big rematch is happening from last year's Heat Wave. We're getting it at Battleground this year. I mean, Battleground last year was in the UFC Apex. This year it's just in Tampa. But we're getting the big rematch. Sol Ruka this time is champion as she faces Kalani Jordan. Kalani won last year's match, so I'm sure these two will have a great match again. They preview Battleground. Joe Hendry heads to the ring for a concert. Then once we're back from break, they preview next week's show in the PC out of Tampa. And then we get the Joe Hendry concert. And I have to say, I thought he was great. He brought up old footage of Trick Williams being a psychic with Carmelo Hayes and during that haunted house for probably Halloween Havoc. I really don't remember. And then he does this thing where he keeps calling him Mello's bitch, and the lyric goes, "Whoop that trick, whoop that trick. Everybody else said Mello's bitch." In reality, everyone was saying whoop that trick, but this was a good touch here. This is a good burn. Blew Trick Williams' rap out of the water. This was way better. Hendry was very entertaining here. And I just thought he did a really good job. It wasn't too long. Trick Williams comes out, attacks Joe Hendry, but he goes for a trick shot. Joe, I think, hits him with a bass guitar to the legs, and he hits him with the choke slam. Joe Hendry stands tall over Trick Williams, and it makes you think, is Trick going to be a TNA champion? I don't know. I think Joe Hendry should win, but that's how NXT ended, leading into Battleground. So we'll see what happens. I'll have my predictions for Battleground, which is this Sunday, and this was NXT. I have to say, I thought this was a bit better than last week. A little bit more on the right track, but NXT really is cold. Since then, they've been cold. There's been some call-ups of the women. Women's division isn't as hot as it used to be, and the men's division just gets exposed when the women's division isn't as good. So, I think it needs a spark, but I thought this week was a step in the right direction. And we'll see what happens on Battleground. Not the best card. Feels like a B show. The B is appropriate for Battleground because it was a B show. But I hope we get a good one this Sunday, and my predictions will be out soon, and we'll see what happens.